It's time to break down what went right and what went wrong during yesterday's game. Severe Reaction is on the air with your host, Michael Severe, and the most important voice of all, yours. Severe Reaction starts now. Powered by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally, only on 1620 The Zone.
Casey gets the snap. Throws it out in the flat, wide open, making the catch is Brewington. He's to the 40, 45, to the 50, to the 45, to the 40, 35, 30, to the 25, and inside the 20, and out on the 16-yard line. Chance for Brewington with a grab and a huge run after the catch. Washington motions to the near side. Snap back. They give it off to Yant. Oh, no. Casey rolls, steps, throws, has a man downfield. Full collect, makes the catch. 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Nebraska.
That's that guy. We talked about him as an X factor now that he's healthy.
Now they'll shift the tight ends from the right to the left of the formation. Snap back. Take the handoff, throw it in the flat. Williams makes the catch. Trying to get away from Quick. Newsom drops the football, and the Huskers have it at the 23. Williams just flat dropped it, and Newsom was there to pick it up.
Yeah, too busy being busy. I mean, that might have been a house call one-on-one. He had everything in front of him, and his eyes got a little too big.
Yep. Back to throw. Backpedaling, being flushed out of the pocket, rolls down the near side, looking, steps, throws, pass intercepted. Sidney Brown with a pick at the 20, up to the 23, 24-yard line. So Purdy with an ill-advised late throw. Late flag comes out. We're going to have unnecessary roughness on Calvin Avery, who shoved down a Husker lineman, Ethan Piper. So it's going to be Illinois ball, but it's going to go half the distance to the goal after the penalty. So they're going to start a drive from their 12-yard line. But
well, he's just got to take care of the football. You know, on the interception, he's throwbacks across the field. You know, you learn that first day of quarterback school. Don't throw across your body. Don't throw across the field. Should have just ran the ball because we already had field goal range. We already had points. And he understood that after. It just, I got to get him I got to prep him better. I got to get him ready better.
Our locker room is so tight. You know, we're brothers in there, and it's a positive locker room right now. You know, obviously it sucks we lost, and guys are upset about that, but we got the 24-hour rule. Going to come back tomorrow. You know, learn from our mistakes. You know, find what we didn't do well, and you know, we're going to move on to the next week and another opportunity. So guys are excited about that, and you know, learn from this one and move on.
The 17th ranked team in the country comes on the road and conquers Nebraska. They beat the Huskers today 26-9. Huskers lose their quarterback Casey Thompson to an injury late in the first half. Had to go the second half without him, and the offense could not get anything going. And the Illini improved now to 7-1.
Happy Sunday morning. Welcome to Severe Reaction here on 1620 The Zone. Looking back at yesterday's loss by Nebraska, 26-9. We'll go over a number of things. Of course, we'll take your phone calls as well. We'll chat with Stephen M. Sipple after 9:30. We'll get into the keys and how they turned out. We'll get into some of the big plays or big mistakes during the game, what changed the game. We'll talk about the quarterback situation. We'll talk about what we learned overall, the big things we learned from the game. We'll get into all of that today on Severe Reaction. Of course, the producer of the show is Chance, Olivier, Oliver, Olive, Pickle, whatever you want to call him. He is here every Sunday morning, and we appreciate that.
Yeah, put whatever you want on your sandwich.
Whatever you want to put on there. I don't care what you put on there. It doesn't matter to me at all. What do they always say? Don't call me whatever you want. Just don't call me late for dinner. That's what the phrase the old people used to say.
Especially me.
Yeah, I don't even do that, Chance. That's not right. That's not right. How was your weekend?
Pretty good.
I know it's not over.
Not over. It's been all right.
Here's what I learned, Chance. You learn something every year you get older. What I've learned is the weekend now is essentially like about, 12 hours.
Yes.
So you get off work. I don't know what time you get off work, but 5, 6 o'clock on Friday.
Yep.
You got about 6 to 8 hours on Friday after you get off work to do, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then Saturday is essentially, Nebraska. So I'm up in the morning walking the dog. I am looking to see who's coming on, what time games are going to be, kind of get my schedule set where I'm going to try to watch either before the game, going to the game, during the game, after the game. So I got about probably 3 hours that morning, walking the dog, watching some pregame show stuff. Got home last night around 9 or so.
Yeah.
Watched a couple shows with my wife. That was about an hour or so. And then today, you come here, get up this morning about 6 o'clock, get ready for the show, do the show, go watch the Saints, probably suffer through that. And then essentially the weekend's over. That's it. It's over. The weekend's done. By the time 4 o'clock rolls around on Sunday, you're like, okay, what I got to do for Monday? You've already moved. Your brain has moved on. The older you get, the shorter the weekend gets. That's what I've learned at 53 years old.
And this weekend, you have to buy Halloween candy.
I don't
You don't hand out?
So okay, we hand out.
All right.
We hand out candy. But I will say that my least favorite, and it's not a holiday because you don't get the day off, even though the kids are off Monday and Tuesday this week. Next week. Because the teachers have learned.
Yeah.
They're too excited before it, and they're way too sugar rushed down on Tuesday to bring them in.
Children are lunatics.
Yes. Yes, they are.
As a former kid.
I am not. Me too. I am not a fan. I'm not a Halloween person. Like, I don't dress up. I'm not a huge candy person.
Yes.
I just not.
That's
The older I get, the less I like Halloween.
Yeah.
Like, I can't stand. At this point now, I can't stand it. Grown people dressing up, and I get out of my face. You're spending too much time putting that outfit together. It bothers me. I don't know why. It just does. The older I get, the more I dislike Halloween. And then over where I work, the City Papillion, they love dressing up for everything. These are the biggest Star Wars nerds, and I love them for this, in the world in that city. They love their Marvel stuff. They love Halloween. They love dressing up. They're huge on this. So there were no less than 9 different Halloween things I had to cover over the course of the last 6 days, and one more tomorrow. Okay. Trick-or-treating over at the library or something. Anyway, yeah, they love their Halloween. I am not a Halloween guy. I'm just not. I've never been one. I wasn't one as a kid. Never been a Halloween person. But more power to you if you love that day.
And it being on a Monday makes it worse because now everyone has a Halloween party on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Really? You know, last time I went to a party?
When?
I can't remember. Last time I went to a party. I think the last party I went to, like official, legit party. Wow. I cannot remember the last time I went to. It might have been
like a Halloween party or just a party?
No, it was like somebody's going away party.
Oh.
I think the last party I went to, like we went to a place because they were having a party. Probably was somebody's going away party. That's all I can think of. I haven't been to a Halloween party since 2004, 3 or 4.
Wow.
Amy Josias, former Iowa Bureau reporter at Channel 7, had a party at her house on 52nd Street, just between Leavenworth and Center, and went to that. That was 2003, 2004, somewhere in there. That's the last Christmas party I've been to.
Now, do you count any work-related Christmas and or New Year's functions?
I avoid going to those even more so.
Yeah.
I don't go to a lot of work party stuff. If you count that, I recently just went to a chili feed for City Papillion, if you count that as a party. But I haven't been to a legit, like, away from work kind of party since then. I don't drink, so that eliminates a lot of partying. And I don't know, I'd rather sit at home. I'd rather be at home.
Same.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Hey, so anyway, yesterday, Nebraska, of course, as you know, falls to Illinois. Now drops to 3-5 on the season. 4 games left. 4 of the appears tougher games, because you've got Minnesota next week, which is, by the way, if you didn't see, it's 11 a.m. next Saturday. 11 a.m. for the game against Minnesota at Nebraska. And then you turn around and you have the run where you have to go to Michigan, which is going to be brutal, Wisconsin, and Iowa. That's how you finish up in the last 4. We'll tell you what we learned from yesterday when it comes to those next 4, in terms of how those teams are playing and what it means for Nebraska, because it's going to be very tough. I can tell you what I saw through the goggles, through the binoculars on Casey Thompson. I had the binoculars on him when he got hit. I'm sure you saw the replay by now. You can see where the hit happened on his forearm. Now, as you know, the human body's got billions of nerves coursing through all parts of our bodies, all these different synapses and everything, right? It's obvious he got a shock to that forearm, enough to where it numbed the nerve in that area to where he couldn't feel his pinky and ring finger. You could see it as he was holding it, just staring at it, because it wouldn't move. As soon as he first tried to move the pinky, you could see the expression of pain on his face. So that's what it is. Now, that simply could be just some sort of junction issue where he had a numbness and it comes back right away. It could be something that lasts. We learned yesterday that they do not have a functional backup quarterback based off of the way they played. Okay? They had 31 total yards from what I counted in the second half. I know there's some other numbers out there, but that's what I counted. 31 total yards in the second half after having, I think, 209 in the first. So that's bad, by the way, if you didn't know. So they don't have a functional quarterback, at least based off of the way they called plays and the way they ran their quarterbacks out there. Without Casey Thompson, there's very little chance they can win any of these 4 games. With him, I give them probably the best opportunity against Wisconsin. Back here, I would guess Minnesota played really well yesterday. If Tanner Morgan's healthy, the size of their offensive and defensive lines would give Nebraska trouble. Obviously, the Michigan game, and then Iowa is a wild card because they can't score points usually. They did score a little bit yesterday. So we'll get to those final 4 games. Before that, though, we'll go to the phones. 402-951-1620. That's where Scott is this morning on Severe Reaction. Good morning, Scott. How are you?
Not too bad. You just mentioned the quarterbacks. I was a little mystified. I mean, you said we don't have a functional quarterback. I guess I'd agree we don't have a functional quarterback considering the way our offensive coordinator likes to call games.
Yeah, based on the way they play, based on the way they call the game, they don't have a functional quarterback.
Yeah, I don't understand. Obviously, Chuba, everybody has a bad day, but Chuba was the way they were hitting up our receivers, going man, bringing 5, bringing 6. They needed to have somebody that could put the ball right on the money, and that was not Chuba yesterday. So I don't understand why they didn't put Logan Smothers back in and say, you know what, even if Chuba was on, the rush is getting to him almost as soon as he's planting his back foot.
Yep.
And so I think if you don't have the threat of quarterback running game, considering where our offensive line is, you're in a world of, you've got to have an NFL-type quarterback. You've got to have Drew Brees back there to deliver the ball quickly, and we don't have that. So I think Whipple needs to sharpen up his pencil and say, okay, how do we incorporate quarterback run game? Maybe he can't throw all the throws, but he can probably throw enough of them to at least give himself a little bit of breathing room. That's it. Thanks, Michael.
Thanks, Scott. I appreciate it. Look, ifs and buts of candy and nuts every day obviously would be Christmas. I love the idea of what ifs. It's something that's always been. I love the comic book as a kid. I love the TV show that they put together. Can't wait for season 2. Here's the thing. Think about this what if. Chuba Purdy's got 3rd and 2, a little bit over 4.5 minutes from Nebraska's 30 or 33-yard line. They run. We all knew it was going to be quarterback follow or some sort of quarterback sweep. We all knew it was coming. Obviously, Illinois knew it was coming too. We all knew it was coming. The Saints run it constantly with Taysom Hill, even though people know it's coming. But Taysom Hill is 240 pounds. Okay? That's not what Logan Smothers is. So they were so creative in the first half with their play calling. I wish they would have done something more creative on that 3rd and 2. Here's the thing I wonder about. If he converts that, if Logan Smothers converts that 3rd and 2 in whatever they call, maybe Nebraska goes and gets points. Nothing else. They run off another 2 minutes, and they don't give the ball back to Illinois to mount that drive that Illinois had to end the half. By the way, that drive, 11 plays, 72 yards on that drive. That follows a 3rd and 2 from Nebraska's 33-yard line. You convert that. Maybe you get another couple first downs. Maybe Logan scrambles or you get the ball to somebody out of the backfield. Or maybe, and by the way, early Anthony Grant wasn't running that poorly early on when there was the threat of pass or run still, right? So maybe you get the first down there or 1 first down or 2. Maybe you get to field goal range. If nothing else, you don't give the ball back to Minnesota to where they can have one of these drives. You give it back with over 4 minutes. They can run the ball. They can throw the ball. Here's what they did on that drive, by the way. They had, first of all, the only negative play they had on the drive was when the touchdown was called back, right, for the block in the back. And that wasn't necessarily negative because it showed you just how open guys can be in the secondary. There were 3 people wide open on that particular play. They got it to one guy, then it was a block in the back. Then they came back and ran. They flipped the field, and ran the wheel route they had run to the West Stadium. They ran to the East Stadium for the touchdown. Anyway, so if nothing else, again, you run more time off so they can't do this. They came out and they ran three straight runs, 9, 5, and 21. That's I believe that's 30. Is that 35 yards? That's 35 yards, I believe. Those 3 carries for Brown were more than he had in the previous 10 in the game. Okay? So they were controlling him until that drive for the most part, and he had 3 good runs. Then Illinois went to the pass. DeVito was barely, and we're going to get to the keys that I had before the game. DeVito was barely pressured. According to the StatCaster, 0 hurries. I charted 1 hurry. And I keep track of all the havoc numbers. I charted 1 hurry the whole game. That means for me, when you make the quarterback move and throw because of your pressure, that's how I think of a hurry. If the quarterback's got to move or throw early before he wants to, that's a pressure. So I only had 1. They had none. They did account for 2 sacks. Obviously, one of them wasn't even on DeVito. It was on that double pass they tried. The other one was a great schemed rush that they had for Isaac Gifford, where they did a late move, a late stem on a defensive line, stood 2 guys up, backed 2 guys up after standing them up, and the offensive line for Illinois had no idea who was coming, and then Gifford came free off the edge and made the sack. So you had, didn't get a lot of pressure on him. The man only had 2 incompletes the whole game. And by the way, one of the incompletes was on that drive in the half. What if Logan does convert that 3rd and 2? Do you think instead of the score being 20-9, say it's just 13-9, or possibly they get a field goal, Nebraska does, it's 13-12 at half? I honestly believe they don't come out with Chuba Purdy then. They come out with Logan Smothers. Because what did Mickey say after the game? He said the main reason why they came out with Purdy was because they needed to throw. Because they were down 11. That's why they did it. That's why they came out with Purdy. If they're not down 11, if they're in a situation where it's 13-9 or 13-12, do they then go with Logan Smothers? Because it was so obvious in that second half that they needed to do something other than Purdy. And Purdy was doing a good job of getting out of the pocket when there was no one blocking and at least getting the throw off. But it wasn't accurate, or it was that interception he threw after the fumble recovery. Whatever it was, it just wasn't good enough. Here's what Mickey said. Did you have it, Chance? Here's what Mickey said about that.
Well, we wanted to go Logan because we thought we was going to run some option, and then we figured we had to throw it to get back in it, so we went with Chubb.
That answer, so Mickey Joseph will tell you that he shoots you straight. He tells you what he thinks, period. He couched that answer, okay? You're down 11 at home, getting the ball first. You're not at a point where you have to worry about having to throw the ball or run the ball. You're not. You're down 11 with the ball coming out in the half. There's 30 minutes left in the game. They just didn't believe in Logan Smothers. Or Mark Whipple doesn't believe in Logan Smothers, and that's why he didn't start the half. Period. It has nothing to do with being down 11, in my opinion. Nothing to do with it. Because that's too much time. That's a conversation you have with the offensive coordinator when there's 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter and you're down 11. And you're like, we've got to throw now. Okay, that's one. You could easily have come out, run the offense that you can run with Logan Smothers, zone read type of stuff, some RPO kind of things, some quarterback straight run, done it that way, and you put yourself in a situation where you can move the ball better than you move the ball with Chuba Purdy. And they did have one efficient drive with Chuba Purdy in the second half. One, really. And, of course, it ended in an interception. But I think they could have had more luck, especially with the fact that all week Illinois worked with the idea that Casey Thompson was quarterback, that he might run, but he wasn't looking to run. And that's how they practiced. That's how they scout teamed. You bring in Logan Smothers, and I know they probably at halftime said, oh, this guy's going to be the quarterback in the second half. Let's draw some stuff up. But still, they didn't practice it all week. You had a better chance of succeeding with Logan Smothers in there than I think you would have with Chubba Purdy. And that's not hindsight 2020 things. I thought that at halftime. I was shocked when I can't remember who first tweeted it. Oh, I remember. It was from Mickey Joseph at halftime when he was speaking with Husker Sports Network and said they were going to come out with Chubba Purdy. I was surprised. I thought they would give Logan a couple drives based off of he looked okay in a couple plays he had at the end of the half, but they didn't do that. We're going to get to the keys and how Nebraska did for those. Let me answer it real quick. Tease, poorly. Also, what it means for Mickey Joseph in terms of going on as a possible head coach. We'll get into that. We'll look ahead to the schedule as well. As I mentioned, Steve Sipple will join us after around 9:30 as well. All that coming up here on Severe Reaction on 1620 The Zone.
It's time for the gates to open. And pure evil to be released. Scary Acres is back. Omaha's ultimate haunted attractions. The Master's Castle, House on the Hill, the Haunted Woods. Scary Acres is open through Halloween night. 172nd and Giles. Sponsored in part by Stereo West, Raising Cane's, and Hy-Vee.
At the American Lung Association, we're fighting for a day when we can all breathe easier. We're fighting for clear skies over every city and healthy lungs throughout the country. We're fighting to free millions of Americans from the addictive grip of tobacco and the devastating effects of lung disease. The American Lung Association isn't just fighting for air, we're fighting for all the things that make it worth breathing, and we can use your help. See what you can do at fightingforair.org.
What's your least favorite season? Now, if you're like me, it's cold and flu season. So get relief from it this year with Mucinex DM. With cough and chest congestion relief for 12 hours in just one dose. That's 3 times longer than 4-hour products. Mucinex DM makes any season comeback season. Even cold and flu season. Get 3 times the relief in just one dose with Mucinex DM. It couldn't be simpler. Nothing lasts longer among over-the-counter cough and cold remedies. Mucinex DM provides 12 hours of relief for chest congestion and cough, day or night. Use as directed.
J-Tech Construction, the official exterior experts of the Huskers, offers exterior solutions that help you protect your number one investment. Whether it's roofing and siding or windows and doors, they're committed to excellence, quality, and outstanding customer service in every step of the process. When it's time to protect the exterior of your home, your choice is simple. Turn to who the Huskers turn to, J-Tech Construction. Check them out online and schedule a free estimate today. J-Tech Construction, the official exterior experts of the Huskers.
Hi, this is Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. Great service never goes out of style. When the digital age dawned, many said computers would be able to handle many of the interactions that used to take a person. Boy, were they wrong. How many times have you called your bank and gotten a recording to press 1 or 2? Not at Equitable. Not only does Equitable answer your call on the first ring, it's answered by a human being. That's because Equitable Bank values its customers. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. Member FDIC.
Get a full breakdown of what went right and what went wrong immediately after every Nebraska game with Big Red Overreaction. Presented by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. And by Coors Light, keeping Nebraska chill. Also brought to you by Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and more. Join the show immediately after the game and sound off with the good, the bad, and the ugly. Big Red Overreaction on 101.9 The Keg and 1620 The Zone. Now, back to Severe Reaction, powered by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. Here's your host, Michael Severe, on 1620 The Zone.
Well, we just talked and said, you know what, we're gonna come back, we're gonna watch the film, and we're gonna look ourselves in the mirror, we're gonna be honest with ourselves, we're gonna tell the truth like we always do on Sunday. And we're gonna see where it went wrong at, we're gonna fix it, because if we don't fix it, it's a copycat lead. They'll come back and hit us with it again next week.
Welcome back, Severe Reaction here on 1620 The Zone. I know one thing, if it's no Casey Thompson, they're in trouble. As they said in Ocean's 11, they're in Barney, rubble, trouble, because that was brutal second half. And I know that Chubba Purdy didn't practice all week. You know, he got the 2s reps, so maybe that was 10%, maybe 20% tops. And then probably they got a couple of plays in there for Logan Smothers, maybe. So I understand that. I get that. You don't prepare. It's a lot of times it's different when you get a whole week of preparation, but that was just brutal to watch. You had 5 5 big plays, I thought, in the game, kind of changing plays, right? You had the early missed or blocked PAT by Nebraska where Bryce Benhart made no effort to block the guy across from him. He literally just stayed in his stance and let the guy go right by him and didn't move from his stance until the guy had blocked the extra point. It was like he did it on purpose. It was horrible. You got the 2 interceptions. I'm going to go with the 2 interceptions in the first half. Then you have the Ramir drop, which is huge because in that same drive, instead of having that big explosive play, 2 plays later, your quarterback gets knocked out of the game and you have the interception. So that's huge. And then the 3rd and 2, I mentioned it at the end of the first half where they ran the play for Logan Smothers. He didn't get the first down. They give the ball back to Illinois. They go down and score and make it 20-9. Those plays were, very important all in the first half that could maybe have made a difference in the game. Welcome back to Sphere Reaction on 1620 The Zone. We'll get to our keys and how they turned out. But first, let's go back to the phones. That's where Jason is this morning. Good morning, Jason. How are you?
Hey, good. Hey, Michael, you hit the points I was going to say, man, because, that Benhart thing, man, I mean, that was horrible. He did not move one iota. And now that the quarterback looks like he potentially could be done, I mean, it's going to be a brutal remaining games. I mean, if there's no way that Casey can play. But
Jason, do me a favor. Pretend you're Bryce Benhart and you're today in film, and they show that. What do you say? I didn't hear the snap. I didn't hear the snap count.
Know, man. You better talk to the Unity Council about that one, Ben, because they're gonna eat you up big time.
Yeah,
and it was bad but I go back to the coaching too. I mean, you allow that. There is no accountability, and the other thing is, like I said, I'm going to go down another road. Like I said, we've got a lot of waffling going on, and now Trev's gotten sucked into it. Mickey's gotten sucked into it. We were going to see if it was going to work with Frost, and then we're going to lower his payout, or reduce his salary. Then we come back, and the powers of be say, okay, let's give him his full payout, because that's what we are. So there's a lot of politicking going on, and there's a lot of waffling going on. And now Mickey's gotten a taste of coaching when he said he didn't want any part of this media and being in front of cameras. And now he's gotten a taste of it. And now he can't dictate to Whipple, hey, we're going to do this, because if you listen to the TV guys, Mickey told him who we were going to go with at quarterback, and then they go opposite. So there's just no consistency going on right now. And like I said, we know what we got with Whipple, and it's not working. So Halloween came early for Nebraska. I mean, it was brutal yesterday, and it was upsetting. And now we'll see if it's another firing on Sunday by somebody, because like I said, Mickey had no problem letting people go, early on. And we'll see if he is still the coach, because right now it doesn't look like he dictates the terms with Whipple right now. And look, Osborne was in his 60s. He evolved. Whipple, you better get it together, buddy, because you can evolve, and you better do it, because KU and K-State, their backup quarterbacks came in, and they just did just fine.
Yeah.
So I don't know why we can't have a backup quarterback come in and not lose much touch. But it was definitely frustrating, and we're going to see if Mickey can get this thing together, because it definitely took a setback, because right now we're in disarray, because every coach that we're about is losing every weekend. Even Gundy lost yesterday big time. So a lot going on.
Yeah.
But let's just pray to God we get this thing turned around.
Jason, we appreciate it. A couple of the coaches did win. A lot of Lane Kiffin talk out there. Lane Kiffin rallied Ole Miss to get a win. That was one. And so Baylor won, right? Didn't they win yesterday? So that's another one that we talk about as a quarterback or coaches. Dave Aranda, they won 45-17. And then so that they have some people. Let me go back to Mark Whipple, because here's the frustrating thing. There were about 4 or 5 plays in that first half that we had really not seen this season that were perfect. They didn't all work, but there are times where you watch Whipple's offense, especially his pass offense, and you go, damn, that could really work. Okay, so initially they threw that wheel route to Brody Belt. I would not have had Brody Belt as the guy in that situation. I think I would have put like an Alante Brown in the backfield instead of Brody Belt to run that route. Brody Belt jumped a little too early. I don't know why. but tried to get up there probably because he saw the safety coming out of the corner of his eye. So he tried to get up early. I think that play could have maybe worked. The throwback to Chancellor Brewington, beautiful play. Went for 40-some yards. It was gorgeous. Even the play to Vokalek, if you watch that play, you have both tight ends on the same side. You have one of your tight ends lined up almost as I like to say when they're in the pistol, it's a loaded pistol if you have the fullback in there with it. So they have the loaded pistol, and then you have him kind of circle out of the backfield, right? So that's what I think the corner on that side saw. So he thought that tight end was going to go there, and then he throws down to Vokalek. And it could have been intercepted or whatever else, but I love the way that was drawn up. They had the fullback trap that they ran to Grant, the inside handoff. You saw things you hadn't seen all year. So that's the frustrating thing about Whipple. There's times where you watch the offense and you say to yourself, wow, that looks great. But there are other times where you look and see the way they ran the ball yesterday, especially in the second half, and you just shake your head. Like, what are you trying to do? What are you even trying to establish? Or let me get, so real quick, I'm going to get to the keys and I'm going to get to the phones. Ken and Gary, stay right there for a second. But one of those keys was success on first down. I wanted to keep the third down average to go under 4 yards. Nebraska gained 1.7 yards on first down. That is not what I had for the key. 7 rushes on first down. They gained 5 yards. Math tells you that's less than 1 yard a carry. Then there were 3 of 11 on first down for 27 yards. They were completely inefficient on first down. It's the most important down of every single possession. The most important down. I know people talk about third down, and I get third down conversion. Third down conversion is a lot easier when you have success on first down, and they didn't yesterday. It was brutal. Look at that. 7 rushes. That's it on first down for 5 yards. That is brutal to even think about. That is the level of inefficiency in that is, like somebody just said, as Jason said, that is fireable offense. It really is. I don't think Whipple's going anywhere. I mean, he's stuck around through, his illness and everything else. To fire him with 4 games to go and appoint somebody else's play call, I don't know. I mean, there's always a possibility. I don't put anything. I didn't expect Frost to get fired when he did, and I didn't know. I kind of expected the defensive coordinator to be changed, but I didn't know how they were going to do that. And I don't know. Anything can happen now. Let's go back to the phones. It's where Ken is this morning. Good morning, Ken. How are you?
Hey, what's going on, Michael? How you doing, bro?
Man, I'm all right. The more I look back at this game, the more frustrated I get, though. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I got you, man. I woke up out of my nap and kind of caught the end of the first half.
Yeah.
So yeah, but you know me, I'm the talent guy.
Yeah.
Since nobody wants to hear my point about the talent, well, let's talk about this. I mean, since Nebraska has more talent, I mean, could it just be, I don't know, is it just the coaching, the team, the effort? I mean, what is it? I mean, since everybody seems to think they have so much more talent than these other teams that they're facing. I mean, how do you just keep losing? I'm at a loss for words. I mean, is it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just keep beating that drum because I can't see this, extremely more talented team just steadily losing to these little brothers every week. It's like,
I would say that Illinois, if we go position by position, I would say Illinois, they have the better running back. If you're just going to see the 2 starting running backs, obviously yesterday they probably had the best quarterback, even when Casey Thompson was in there. Nebraska has better wide receivers, offensive line, Illinois, defense overall, Illinois, talent-wise. So yesterday, watching that game, I certainly wouldn't have said to myself that Nebraska was more talented at the majority of positions yesterday.
Right. No, definitely. And, and I guess, I've seen that in quite a few games, but could it just be like, I don't know, these guys aren't being coached up or, they just don't, they've been losing so long. Could it just be a mental thing at this point?
That's a big thing.
Like,
yep.
Yeah.
You got to know how to win, man. How do you learn how to win without winning?
Without winning. There you go.
Yeah.
Just like anything in life, you keep failing at something, it's going to be hard to, turn it around and start winning, So, yeah, I guess I can get that. But how do they remedy that at this point?
No, I don't know, man. I mean, yesterday would have been one of those games where you beat the number 17 team in the country. If you'd have won that game, that would have given you the confidence to feel like you could beat Minnesota, that you could beat Wisconsin. But after that, I can't imagine those guys walk around with a lot of confidence today.
No, yeah, absolutely agree with that, man. Definitely.
Yeah.
But Mike, you have a good day, man, and enjoy your day.
You too, Ken. I appreciate it. Failure is the greatest. It teaches you the greatest lessons. At the same time, failure is the biggest curse because yes, you learn lessons, but there's times where if you fail enough, you just don't get any better. You should, right? Trial and error. That's kind of what it is. You do something over and over enough, even if you're failing at it, you do learn how to do it better. Your brain should work that way. That's how your brain should process. On the other hand, they've lost so many games, a lot of these guys. And look, some guys played. Reimer was flying around yesterday. There was a bust to the East Side Stadium, where I believe it was a throw to the tight end that I thought, this is going long. This is going for a good distance. And Reimer, like he was shot out of a cannon, chased the guy down and made the tackle. And I was like, wow. He looked as healthy as he looked all season. He looked good. Buford was flying around making tackles. Newsome looked really good all game. Farmer had one of his better games at times yesterday. The defense had moments where they played well. We mentioned the sack by Gifford. Kolarvik, I thought, struggled inside a little bit. Mike Clement had a couple of plays where he was right there, but didn't necessarily make the play. So, I mean, there were guys on defense that had some moments. Feist or Feast, I've heard it both ways, had a play in the backfield. So they did some things. But when you're on the field for 70 plays, when you're on the field against that offense for 70 plays, you're just going to get worn down. They played everybody. Newsome played, Messiah Newsome played a lot. Jabari Butler got in there. Gunnarsson, everybody was playing. They were doing everything they could, playing guys to kind of rest. But eventually you just get worn down. And I think you saw it at the end of the first half. That 11-play drive at the end of the first half, during parts of that drive, it looked like Nebraska was worn down already. It really did. So you have to have an offense that could be able to give your guys some rest, and they didn't have that yesterday. Let's go back to the phones. Gary in New Jersey. What's up, Gary? How are you?
Mike, how are you? I've been waiting for this call all night.
Uh-oh.
When I saw the comments after the game, I went ballistic. All of a sudden, it's Ramir Johnson's fault that we lost this game. He played one play against Purdue, one play yesterday. It was, let's not make it seem like the ball was between the numbers. He should have caught it.
Yeah.
I'll give it. But he got himself open. Everybody's blaming him. When in the third quarter, it was 23-9.
Yeah.
Game wasn't out of hand yet. On a second down carry, Grant has the first down. He shies away from a hit, and then he's 3 yards short of the first down.
Yeah.
And then fumbles 2 possessions later. I went nuts, Michael. I know you remember me because the New Jersey nuts.
Yeah, sure.
I made a fool out of myself at Rutgers Stadium, screaming at nobody. And he wasn't even at the game because he wasn't playing. But please, what's your position on this? He got himself open. He gets one play. All right, he dropped it. It wasn't a great ball, but at least he got open. And then we never see him again, but we keep seeing Grant.
Yeah, I know. I was very frustrated that he dropped it. I'm a big Ramir Johnson fan. I wish he'd have caught it. I wish they would have run that first play, that wheel route to Brody Belt. I wish that was Ramir. I think he would have done a better job out there. You can't blame him for it, but it's just one of the many things that happened that led to the game getting out of hand, because 2 plays later after the drop, then you have the sack interception. So, it's horrible. You don't want to blame him. But, he caught the ball in practice, as coach said all week long. He's got to catch that ball. He doesn't get a lot of chances. I wish he got more, but he doesn't get a lot of chances. That's a play. I know Heel said it this morning. He had to make that play.
You're right. You're 100% right. But what about Grant shying away from the hit and then fumbling?
It's funny on that play, Gary, I think he thought that he could make more yards busting it outside instead of just putting his foot in the ground and getting the first down. That's Grant's problem. He's trying to make a big play every carry instead of taking what's there. And I agree. That was a horrible play because he had the first down and decided I'm going to try to get more. But I don't know if it was shying away as much as he thought I could get more yards if I busted outside. That's what I think he was doing.
And can I ask you, where's Gabe Irvin? Because
He's hurt. He's hurt. Gabe Irvin's got turf toe.
Okay.
Yeah. So he was out for
All
that
right.
game. He wasn't even suited up.
Well, I appreciate you letting me vent, Michael.
No problem, Gary. Take it easy, man.
See ya.
All right. You know what? It's not bad for Gary. Like, I don't know if Gary's a Giants or Jets fan, but at least he's got that going for him. Hopefully he's a fan of one of those two teams in Jersey because they're playing pretty darn well. That you could put that Grant play in there as well as one that turned the game because you have a chance to get a first down, take the first down. Instead, he's like, well, I can make this move to the outside, ends up losing a yard, and then you don't convert on the third down. So, no, I completely agree with Gary. And the fumble was Grant, again, trying to make something out of nothing and ended up, putting the ball up into the air and for a turnover. Take one more call, and we'll take a break. Let's go to Mike. What's up, Mike?
Hey, what's up, Michael?
Good, man. I'm all right.
Hey, so I just want to reiterate a little bit on that caller that was talking about
talent. Hey, Mike, what's up, man? How you been?
Dude, I've been good, man. It's been a while.
Yeah, it has.
So last month, Michael, Damon and I got into this on the radio about talent.
Yeah.
And my whole point is, listen, this season's over. Everybody can talk about it, whatever. It's nothing. It all depends on Trev hiring the next coach. And my whole thing is he's going to have to hire a coach that has a national brand in recruiting.
Yeah.
And, I think Luganville said it on the broadcast yesterday about, well, what are they going to have to do? He says you're going to have to start winning some battles against Ohio State and Georgia in recruiting. You don't have to win them all, but you can have to win a few. And I got into this with Damon, Michael, about the state talent. I understand there's an uptick now. It's as good as it's been in a long time. I understand that. But it's not the golden era, and it's never going to be. I mean, you've had one running back from the state of Nebraska who played high school football that started a game. That was 18 years ago. You've had one quarterback since Eric Crouch start one game. And I get there maybe could have been one or two others that could have along the way or didn't go to Nebraska.
Jay Ducker should have been at Nebraska, Mike. Jay Ducker should have been at Nebraska.
I understand.
No doubt.
Could have.
Yeah, I know.
But Michael, the fact is there's been one quarterback start one game in the last 21 years that played their high school football in this state.
Right.
You're not going to have the state. You have to have a national brand. If Nebraska's going to get back with USC and UCLA coming in, they're going to have a coach that has a national brand in recruiting. I would love for them, Michael, to go after Deion. I said this from the get-go. You're talking about a guy that could bring in national recruit right off the bat. You'd have to open up the checkbook for him because he's not going to leave Jackson to come to Lincoln. But you have to open up the checkbook. But the golden era of Nebraska high school football, Michael, as a whole, it's not coming back. You're not going to have like the 95 and 97 national championship team. 7 of the 11 starters on those offense played their high school football in the state of Nebraska.
Right.
And, oh, by the way, those teams scored 53 and 47 points a game, led the country in scoring, led the country in rushing, and won national championships with 7 of the 11 starters on offense that played their high school football in the state. That ain't happening again. You had that 12-year run, Michael, from 86 to 97. 10 of those 12 years, a kid that played their high school football running back led Nebraska in rushing. 8 of those 10 years, they were first-team all-conference. Basically 2 schools, Omaha Central and Omaha Bryan.
Yeah.
That's never going to happen again. If Nebraska truly wants to get back, they're going to have to get a coach that has a national brand in recruiting. Sorry about Dave Aranda or any of this. You got to go get a big boy, and they're going to have to open up the checkbook because if they don't, Michael, with the ever-changing landscape of college football, with USC, UCLA, Nebraska is going to get caught in the wash, and they're going to be irrelevant forever.
All right, Mike, we appreciate the phone call. And I'm not saying that Nebraska is producing the kind of talent right now compared to some of those classes you're talking about. Those 91 and 92 classes put out a whole lot of talent of in-state guys. But on the other hand, if you look at what Nebraska's done as a tight end producing state with guys going other places and playing, right? If you look at what Nebraska's done as a center producing state with those guys going and being successful other places. We've seen a little bit in the secondary as well. Not secondary, in the defensive side of the ball. You've seen some guys leave the state, go other places, and play very well on a defensive line, even linebacker in the past. So there has been a miss on about a dozen guys that could have made this team much better. They're not at quarterback, no. Although if you want to count Max Duggan as a guy that maybe could have come here and been successful from Council Bluffs, which is essentially Nebraska, you could say that is a guy that should been here playing football, right? I think there's going to be a couple of other guys that are going to be. I think you're going to have Flores is going to go someplace and be successful at Oklahoma State that they missed out on. So there are going to be other guys that could, but I agree. There's no top flight quarterback coming out of here. And running back has been a big problem ever since Jalen Bradley came and didn't necessarily have the success everybody hoped. It's really been bad in-state running back wise. So I get that. Although I think these next two classes are going to have a lot of talent in them. And there are a lot of them are going to go to Nebraska. They won't be a quarterback necessarily or running back. I agree with that. We'll take a break. We come back. Don Juan, stay right there. We'll get you on the other side. Severe reaction here on 1620 The Zone.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're speaking another language, like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Welcome to the After Hours Lounge on 1620 The Zone.
I choose to invade the state of Minnesota and steal PJ Fleck. He's rowing the boat into Lincoln.
They hired PJ Fleck for this job. I will quit. September 13, 2022, I will state my resignation at 1620 The Zone if they hire PJ Fleck.
Catch After Hours 6 to 8 Monday through Friday or as the sports schedule allows. Brought to you by Iowa Western Community College and Multicare Medical on 1620 The Zone.
It's Halloween at Genesis Health Clubs. Join with no enrollment fee, no contract, and save 20% per month every month. Hurry, just one day left. It may be the spookiest time of the year, but starting a new fitness routine doesn't have to be scary. Genesis Health Clubs has top-of-the-line equipment and the absolute best personal trainers, tennis professionals, and group fitness instructors to help keep you motivated and headed towards your fitness goals. Plus, relax in luxury afterwards with saunas, steam rooms, and fluffy towel service. Whatever your fitness needs, Genesis is here to help every step of the way, and there's nothing scary about that. This Halloween, join Genesis Health Club with no enrollment fee, no contract, and save 20% per month every single month. But hurry, this offer will end before you have a chance to count your Halloween candy. It ends on Halloween and won't extend. Hurry, just one day left. Go to GenesisHealthClubs.com before Halloween and get no enrollment fee, no contract, and save 20% per month every month. One day left. This offer will not extend.
If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide or experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, call 988 for free, confidential, and compassionate support. The National Suicide Prevention Lifeline has a new number, 988. There is hope for 24/7 support. Just call, text, or chat 988.
Sponsored by Nebraska DHHS, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hi, this is Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. Great service never goes out of style. When the digital age dawned, many said computers would be able to handle many of the interactions that used to take a person. Boy, were they wrong. How many times have you called your bank and gotten a recording to press 1 or 2? Not at Equitable. Not only does Equitable answer your call on the first ring, it's answered by a human being. That's because Equitable Bank values its customers. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. Member FDIC.
Now, back to Severe Reaction, powered by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. Here's your host, Michael Severe, on 1620 The Zone.
Were you surprised it got away from you that quickly?
Well, I knew after when Casey went down, we was in, we thought we was in good place. When Casey went down, after Casey went down through the pick, yeah, I was surprised that it got away that quick. Got away from us.
Mickey Joseph after the game last night. Of course, Nebraska falls 26-9 to Illinois, who I'm guessing will be somewhere in the top 15. Although it's kind of hard. I went through my top 16. I put a ballot in for the Pro Football Writers Association, and I have them at 14 with Kansas State and North Carolina at 16 and 15. There's an argument to be made that North Carolina should be ahead of Illinois. So we'll see how far Illinois moves up, but tough loss for Nebraska. Let's go back to the phones. I thought they'd initially said wait on the call screener, and so I was like waiting, but it's actually Walt. I apologize, Walt, for making you wait. Good morning.
Hey, it's all good, man. Hey, the wait is the weight of losing, right?
It is painful, yeah.
And Mike, hey, let's really look at this here.
Sure.
Maybe I'm going to mention some things Husker fans are not going to want to hear. after the game, I looked at my wife. I go, man, we need to shut this thing down for a year and rebuild this whole thing. This is horrible. Fans are leaving, 3/4 of the way through the game. But Whipple, he is trying to run his offense with an offense, let's be honest, that he doesn't have the talent to run it with.
Right.
Now, I know by halftime, Thompson had over 200 yards, whatever the offense had, over 200 yards.
They did.
That means we're just passing around the field. We never got in the end zone. How many teams have we seen over the years, many years ago? Dante Culpepper came to the Lincoln, threw for 400-something yards. Those yards sometimes mean nothing if you can't score and get 7. We are not going to win close games. Illinois, I think, is a decent team. Everybody's talking about their defense. It's not an Alabama, Georgia defense, okay? They may be number 1 in the country because of who they played,
right?
Which we've shown right now we're really not that good. My concern though is the portal. Thompson's getting beat up the way we saw Robinson get beat up. And if I'm a family member that watched Robinson get beat up when Scott Frost had him as a running back when he should have been a wide receiver, he leaves after getting beat up. I don't know if Thompson has the ability to leave or not, but I'm telling you right now, this kid's getting beat up every week. We've seen the hits sometimes he's taken. It's not going to get any better. The defenses he faces up ahead are better, I think, than Illinois. A few of them are, a couple of them are. This is just ugly, and I hope Thompson sticks around. I hope Grant sticks around. The Johnson issue, once again, is Whipple looking at this and going, I'm going to go for one big play. There's no opportunity to eat the clock. This defense is back on the field after 3 quick, horrible plays. And I agree with the last caller, or caller before last. You need a big-name person to come in here and turn this program around because we don't have 4 or 5 years to rebuild. It's right now, it's just in disarray. I know Mickey, hats off to him, man. This dude is trying with saving grace to save a program that looks like there's no grace to be given to because it just doesn't have it. I give it to Reimer. Man, he was running around like JoJo Dolan, man. I was like, where did this brother come from? And he looked like he wanted to play no matter what the score was. Hats off to the defense. But this offense with Whipple, I think Whipple's about Whipple, and something's got to be done. I don't think you fire this guy, but if you can't sit him down and say, listen, we're going to run some things different, maybe some 2 tight end sets. We're going to protect our quarterback, and let's see where this thing goes, even if we lose the rest of the game. But don't get this kid hurt. This is just out of control. Everybody sees it. And if I'm a parent of Thompson, I'm out of here. I just want to know your comments.
Yeah, I appreciate the call. Well, I don't think Casey Thompson is coming back. He's 24 years old already. I don't think he's coming back to be a 25-year-old college student. I think he saw what Whipple did last year with Pickett. He thought maybe he could come here and put up some really big numbers, and maybe that could get him a chance at a shot in the NFL. Maybe. That's what he came here for the 1 year. I can't imagine him even thinking about coming back another year. So I think that's passed. They're going to have to go out into the portal, as you said, find a quarterback if they don't believe that one of the guys they have, and they have several, some people asked about Torres yesterday, and Mickey Joseph said he's not ready, which is, understandable. Chubba Purdy, I don't know if he is the future here at Nebraska. Someone called earlier and said, look at Kansas and Kansas State with their backup. I agree. Will Swanson played a ton already at Kansas State. So him playing yesterday and playing well wasn't a surprise. Oklahoma State's defense, their pass defense was horrific most of the season. They stopped the run. So it almost was better for Swanson to play than Adrian Martinez, because you wanted somebody to throw from the quarterback position and not run from the quarterback position. So that's what was affected by them. And I think Oklahoma State also was just like worn out from the last few weeks of playing football against some really good competition. And so they got destroyed. And then Kansas, you've got a guy backing up there who has been was a starter for, I think, 2 seasons. Was it at SMU? I can't remember what TCU, not TCU. Was it SMU? Who was a starter at another school for a couple of years. So it's not like that. You don't have that with your backups. Chubba Purdy had a handful of snaps at Florida State. He wasn't an experienced quarterback. Casey Thompson had his snaps, right, at Texas and was really good, but it's not like the backups you had at Kansas and Kansas State. I'm not making excuses for Nebraska. They don't have that kind of experience behind them. They have to figure out if they have their quarterback from next year on the roster right now, right? And maybe that's what they were doing by leaving Chubba Purdy in there for that whole second half. Maybe they were trying to figure that out. I don't know. But they have to figure that out. And if not, they're in the portal looking for the next quarterback, which has been effective for a lot of different teams. You're in the portal looking for offensive linemen, which are gold. You're in the portal looking for defensive linemen, which are they're platinum, even more valuable than gold. And you need all of those to help build this team to be able to be successful next year, whoever the coach is. Let's go to our friend Don Juan this morning. Hey, Don, what's happening, man?
What's up, Michael?
Nothing good. I mean,
Hey, man, we just having a great show, man. Talking about candy and all that other stuff. But real quick, before I forget, I just want to say, wait to walk for one moment. I don't know if we're going to play a defense that's going to be better than what Illinois played. What you think?
Oh, Michigan. I think Michigan's defense can be more physical.
Could be.
I think they actually are. I think if you compare what Michigan's played to what Illinois played in terms of overall offenses, I think Michigan's scarier than Illinois is. Look, Nebraska had 220 whatever yards in the first half and had opportunities in the second half with a backup quarterback who was really struggling. I think that they'd have been able to move the ball in the second half against Illinois. I don't know if they'll be able to move the ball at all against Michigan.
You said what?
I think they could have moved the ball with Casey Thompson in the second half against Illinois. I don't think they're going to have much success at all against Michigan.
Well, right, but the thing is, right, is on first down they have to be more committed to the run. I think, right, and maybe that starts with the strength and conditioning. I'm not sure. Fourth quarter, but before they, you guys go out and go get Dion, and we just go ahead and just say we all about the wins and the glitz and the glamour. I just think, man, that we can give Mickey a little bit of a chance, man, to be able to see what the problems is and how you would go about fixing it. And like I was saying yesterday, right? I want 85 Mickey guys. I want them all to be for Nebraska, but I want 85 guys that are the coach's guy, right? And now the coach can embrace players that he didn't recruit or he don't know much about and try to, set them up for success the best he can. But, I just go down a little bit, man.
I get what you're saying, Don Juan. I think there is zero chance, and I am a huge Mickey Joseph fan.
No,
I think there's zero chance that Mickey Joseph is the head coach. Zero.
Thing, bro.
Huh?
You can't say I'm a big fan and we got to get rid of him.
Well, no, I didn't say you got to get rid of him. I'm saying there's zero chance that he's the head coach. I'm not saying you got to get rid of him. I just don't think there's any chance that you're going to put everything you have, and that's what Trev Alberts is doing, everything you have on the future of this program on a guy who's never been a head coach at the Power 5 level. I don't think there's any chance you do that.
Now, one thing I want to say, I appreciate you because like Coach said too, we tell the truth on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you can be wrong, but that can still be your truth, though. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
Now, I'm not saying that you're wrong about Trev either, though, because he could be wrong. I'm just saying, bro, that, we here to tell the truth on Sunday. You know what I mean? So I appreciate him and you for that, bro.
If you're going to take your shot, Don Juan, you got to grab the biggest, most calibered gun you have to take that shot. You have to.
You know what I would do, bro?
What?
Real quick, okay?
Yeah.
Defensive line coach, you out of here. I'm going to go get Jay Foreman, right?
No, come on, man.
Coach, hey, man, wait, hold on.
First of all, Jay Foreman's a linebacker coach.
Wait. Hey, Whipple, you gone. I'm going to go get Turner Gill. And I'm just going to go ahead and...
Turner's retired, man.
Bro, so what?
He's been out of the game for years, and his offense wasn't even that creative when he was an offensive coordinator.
And now next thing you're going to say is that you was a big Turner Gill fan. Right?
I don't know Turner. I wish Turner would have gotten the job instead of Bo Pelini. I do. I still wish that would have happened. But
hey,
no.
Man, but a lot of fans love
you can't just go hire a bunch of former Nebraska players. You need to go out there and find the most experienced, best recruiters you can.
Foreman is just a former Nebraska player?
Dude, I'm friends with Jay Foreman. I like Jay Foreman.
I know that.
What am I going to – Jay Foreman's never been a coach at a Power 5 level. You can't just go grab people and say, be a coach.
Hey, look, man. A lady called in yesterday, and she was saying that she wanted Jay to be the coach, the head coach. And Jay said that he wanted her to be the head coach. You know
Jay don't want that. Jay don't want that smoke. Tito
Hey,
won
man,
it.
thank you, man.
Thanks. Hey, take it easy, Don. Have a great Sunday, man. We got to take a break. We're top of the hour. We'll come back. We'll get to Pat, T-Rex, and Andrew here on Severe Reaction on 1620 The Zone.
It hit me like a ton of bricks. I'm like, I never smoked a cigarette. How in the hell did I get lung cancer?
I don't smoke. I've never smoked. So I started Googling. One word just kept coming up, like it was in bold and red, and it was radon.
Radon is the number 2 cause of lung cancer.
Well, you don't know if it's in your home. You got to test. You can't see it. You can't taste it. You can't smell it.
What's your level? Radon Defense Midwest can help. Visit radonradio.com for a special offer. That's radonradio.com.
Creighton Sports Update.
Only 2 weeks until Blue Jays basketball is back. Single game tickets for all men's and women's basketball home games are on sale now. Get your tickets online at gocreighton.com/tickets or at the Creighton ticket office. And that's your Creighton Sports Update.
$16.20 The Zone proudly supports Creighton Athletics.
Everyone deserves to be connected. That's why Cox has high-speed internet to fit any budget. Stream, chat, and connect at an incredible price. You're probably thinking, wait, what? But yeah, it's true. Learn more at cox.com/ACP. Non-transferable, one per household. Application and eligibility decisions are made by the FCC. Other restrictions apply.
Get a full breakdown of what went right and what went wrong immediately after every Nebraska game with Big Red Overreaction. Presented by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. And by Coors Light, keeping Nebraska chill. Also brought to you by Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and more. Join the show immediately after the game and sound off with the good, the bad, and the ugly. Big Red Overreaction on 101.9 The Keg and 1620 The Zone.
J-Tech Construction, the official exterior experts of the Huskers, offers exterior solutions that help you protect your number one investment. Whether it's roofing and siding or windows and doors, they're committed to excellence, quality, and outstanding customer service in every step of the process. When it's time to protect the exterior of your home, your choice is simple. Turn to who the Huskers turn to, J-Tech Construction. Check them out online and schedule a free estimate today. J-Tech Construction, the official exterior experts of the Huskers.
Now, back to Severe Reaction, powered by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. Here's your host, Michael Severe, on 1620 The Zone.
What were they doing to Trey Palmer? He just had one catch today for 1 yard. Did they do something to take him out, or was it more that you guys just couldn't get it to him?
Well, they mixed it up. We couldn't get it to him, but they were really handsy. And we talked to him during the week that they're just not going to let you run. So he's got to run through some of the contact. He understood that after doing the game that he had to run through it, but just some place we just couldn't get it to him.
Welcome back to Severe Reaction. We'll take a quick call before we take another break. We'll go to Pat. Good morning, Pat. How are you?
Hey, good. How are you, Michael?
I'm all right.
Hey, so I got a couple of things that I just want to talk about. So my one of my kids who's he's a freshman in college, and I went with him and my wife to the game. And afterwards we were talking about how it's going to be like probably a good 4 years before Nebraska is going to be even 500. I mean, you figure this season's it's a bust. There are 3 wins, maybe one more. You get a new guy who you figure, I mean, he installs a different system. I hope something run oriented. That's going to take at least a year or 2, and you figure by their 3rd year maybe they get 6 wins or something like that. So I was like saying to him, I'm like, well, so by the time you graduate college, maybe they'll be good. I don't know. And then the other thing, when I was leaving with my wife, and we left earlier, and then it's left in the 4th quarter. One of the Go Big Red chant. Nobody answers.
Oh no!
Usually you hear the Go
Oh
Big
no!
Red,
Oh
and
no!
like nobody answered. I thought, oh my god.
Yeah. hey, Pat, real quick. Do you know what Illinois' record was the year before Bielema got there?
Yeah. Okay. So I know 2 years it can happen, but that's if you get the right guy, and
Sure.
there's no guarantees. And Nebraska hasn't been guaranteed anything here lately.
You know what Kansas's record was before Lance Leipold got there?
Yeah. Well, and again, no guarantees, and I'm not sure we'll see how they end the season. I don't know.
Right. I'm just saying that I understand when you project forward, you could say maybe 4 or 5 years, but honestly, the right coach with the way the portal system is, you can turn it around in a year, 2 years. Michigan State showed that too, had that great year last year because they went in the portal and brought in 20 guys. So there is the chance, better now than it used to be, to turn it around quicker, I think.
Yeah, I hope you're right.
All right, Pat, thanks a lot. We appreciate it. We'll take a quick break. Missed the top of the hour. I apologize. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. More severe reaction. T-Rex, Andrew, stay right there. We'll catch your calls on the other side. And also at 9:30, we'll talk to Stephen M. Sipple here on 1620 The Zone.
Here's an opportunity for business-to-business salespeople. NRG Media is looking for someone who gets excited about helping local businesses grow. Are you an idea person who can create and execute a plan? We should talk. At NRG Media, we create local marketing campaigns designed to meet a key challenge. On air, online, on-site, audio, video. It's all part of what you could do. A sales career with NRG lets you make a real difference. Business-to-business salespeople? Apply online at nrgmedia.com. NRG Media is an equal opportunity employer.
From tailgate parties to busy weeknights, the flavor experts at Omaha Steaks have made it easy to savor all the flavors of fall with their mouth-watering assortments of perfectly aged steaks, ultra-juicy burgers, and easy-to-prepare comfort meals that are ready in a flash. Right now, take advantage of 50% off site-wide by shopping their semi-annual sale. This sale only happens twice a year, and it's on now with 50% off delicious customer favorites. And when you use promo code SIZZLE at checkout, take an additional $30 off of your order. Don't wait. Go to omahasteaks.com, enter SIZZLE at checkout, and stock up on fall flavor today. Omaha Steaks is perfect for those chilly and busy fall nights, with entrees ready before the kids can say, "What's for dinner?" Omaha Steaks isn't just steak. It's the best steak of your life, guaranteed. That's omahasteaks.com, code SIZZLE at checkout. Minimum order may be required.
Hi, this is Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. Great service never goes out of style. When the digital age dawned, many said computers would be able to handle many of the interactions that used to take a person. Boy, were they wrong. How many times have you called your bank and gotten a recording to press 1 or 2? Not at Equitable. Not only does Equitable answer your call in the first ring, it's answered by a human being. That's because Equitable Bank values its customers. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. Member FDIC.
Shop Woodhouse Place Hyundai and Nissan, 144th and Giles. KOZN, Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs.
Hey everyone, Josh and John here for the FanDuel Sportsbook. One of the things that I love about betting on the NFL, finding new players, new game props that I like, new players. What about Christian McCaffrey? He is on John's hated 49ers, and he's going up against his beloved Rams. Maybe an anytime touchdown this weekend when he takes them on. But to make my friend John happy, I'll go with the Rams to win the game. They get revenge for the loss earlier in the season. John, are you happy with me?
No, Josh, I'm not happy. But I am happy every time I use the same game parlay feature on the FanDuel Sportsbook app, because if you like a particular team and a player prop, parlay them together. That means bigger payouts. Also, live betting. That's right. You can bet on games while they're already in action. And if you're new to FanDuel, sign up today with promo code 1620 for your no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's promo code 1620. 21 plus in President Iowa. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
Now, back to Severe Reaction, powered by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. Here's your host, Michael Severe, on 1620 The Zone.
They turn and throw it out. It's a lateral. Williams looking to throw the football, now being chased out of the pocket and shoved out of bounds. He'll lose 12 yards. Clear back to the 34-yard line. Williams got shoved into the Husker bench. Quentin Newsom again there, DB.
Yeah, he is all dog today.
Let me give you my impersonation of the Illinois head coach, Brett Bielema, to his offensive coordinator after that call. What are you doing? You know how much success we're having? What are you doing? Double pass was not necessary in that situation. And I know you're not allowed to just throw the ball away, but he could have thrown the ball over the top of everyone towards the end zone and would have been fine instead of taking that 12-yard loss. But there was no reason to run that play for Illinois right there. Let's go back to the phones. T-Rex, is that correct?
Yeah, T-Rex. Hey, buddy.
What's up, man?
Mike, good to see you. I mean, good to talk to you. I'm glad you branched out. You're back on the radio. I love hearing your insight. But I did want to say, I think Mickey. I know you said do you want to take a chance? A guy you don't think he has any shot at getting a job because he has no coaching experience. But he could be Nebraska's Dabo Swinney. I mean, Dabo didn't have any experience, but he was a good recruiter. The players liked him. And it blossomed in his success. I know he's in a hotbed of talent, like in Clemson. He's got a radius of talent around him. I just think that same could apply to Mickey, just based on his recruiting prowess, history, and also his personality. But I also think everybody needs to just kind of go back and look what he's dealing with. You got an offensive line and a defensive line. Those are the two areas that we struggle with the most. And if you're struggling there, I mean, it's not like you can cover those up. I mean, they're glaring weaknesses. You pointed out Benhart. I know we hate to mention names, but I mean, these are big boys. They're playing big boy football. So, I mean, he's just horrible. I mean, we've got horrible offensive line, horrible defensive line. And that's where the game is won and lost at most times. And if we're horrible there, I just think we need to give Mickey a chance to get those corrected, get his guys in here. 2 years, I think if Mickey was the head coach this whole year, I don't think there's any doubt that we'd be in a bowl game, and that's not the standard that we need to be reaching for. But I'm just saying, based on what he's dealing with and what all the stuff where he came in at, I think that's why a lot of people are saying they want Mickey in there, is just because of everything he's bringing to the table on top of everything he's had to deal with. So
hey, T-Rex, T-Rex. Do you remember the movie Coming to America?
Yeah.
Remember the scene in the barbershop where they're talking about the great boxers and they bring up Rocky Marciano and the guy says, that's day one. That's day one. Dabo is that one. I mean, it's one. There's another dozen guys who were position coaches who were elevated because of excitement, and it hasn't worked out. So, I mean, Dabo's the one. And remember also, Dabo had 3 remarkable quarterbacks in a row. That's rare to have. Plus, he had $2 million an offensive and defensive coordinator over those years who went on to be head coaches. You're talking about a really unique scenario with Dabo Swinney. And by the way, Dabo Swinney almost got fired after year 3 because the Clemson fans were mad that they had a bad year. So, I mean, it's just a once in a lifetime kind of thing for Dabo.
Yeah, true. But he didn't get Venables though. Venables came there and got better. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like he had Venables in his pocket, like he inherited him.
No, he didn't. He brought him in, paid Chad Morris and played Venables over $1 million each, and had great offensive talent around him. I just don't think that Nebraska can. First of all, I don't believe that they have that kind of talent that Clemson had when Dabo took over. So that's a big part of it too.
We don't have a C.J. Spiller and who else?
Well, he had Taj Boyd when he took over, and Taj Boyd was just a fun quarterback to watch. And then he turned around and got a Deshaun Watson and those guys that took the program to another level in a national championship. But
well, I think I get what you're saying, and I don't disagree with it totally. I just think for the sake of this conversation, the way people use motor when they talk about the NFL draft for certain players, quote unquote. Well, we need more quote unquote athletes. And that was the difference yesterday. It was the athletes that Illinois had that we didn't have. Like, I like Luke Reimer. He's a great player. He gives his heart for Nebraska.
Yeah.
But if Nebraska is on their P's and Q's, Luke Reimer is probably like a backup. Or if we're totally being honest, he's a great player. But we need a coach that's going to come in. Like the last guy said, we need a national recruiter.
Yes.
Somebody who's going to recruit nationally, bring in the athletes that we need, and we'll be back to that spot. And I think Mickey's the guy to do that. I think his staff, you got him, Applewhite. I mean, as soon as they got here, they recognized like, oh, none of these receivers are good enough. None of the running backs are good enough.
Right.
And the quarterback. Like, so, I mean, I don't know. The proof is in the pudding there. So I'll hang up and listen, but thank you. I'll be calling again. And like I said, I'm just glad to hear you back on the radio.
Thanks, T-Rex. I appreciate it. If Mickey Joseph gets the job, I will be happy. As a fan of Mickey Joseph, as a native New Orleans, as a guy who was a fan of Mickey Joseph, and I've said this over and over again, when he was a quarterback at Shaw, okay, I am a fan of him. If he got the job, I'd be very happy for him. I don't know if it's the best thing for the program. And I got to take off my I like Mickey hat. I want Mickey hat off. And I got to think about it in terms of history. What do trends tell me? What does history tell me? In this situation, if you hire a guy who was your position coach without any experience to be your head coach, has it worked out? Sometimes it's even a coordinator who you get excited about, who you bring in, and has it worked out? Not necessarily. So we're in a situation now where if Mickey gets hired, I think 60%, maybe 70% of the fan base will be ecstatic, depending on how the season ends. Because if they get blown out in the last 4 games, I don't know if there'll still be that high of a number. There'll still be the people saying, give Mickey his own people. Give him his own, I'm talking about coaches, give Mickey his own players, and we'll see. But that number will go down. People will be happy if he got the job. Taking the hat off as a fan of him and being as realistic as I can, if you want to make this work, you better go get a coach who has been a program builder in the past, who's recruited nationally as a head coach, who has been in this situation before. And there are a handful of guys out there who have done it. Look what Heupel has done at Tennessee. Like, they have tons of talent, don't get me wrong, and they had it. But they had like 40 guys go in the portal when he got there. That place was a mess. Absolute mess. And in 2 years, wow, it can be done. It's got to be the right guy to do it. Take another phone call before we take a break. Let's go to Andrew. Been holding for a long time. What's up, Andrew?
Hey, what's up? How you doing today?
Hey, Andrew. What's happening, man?
Nothing much. First of all, this is a decision that can't be a test. It has to be the right decision.
Right.
And another thing is, it has to be the right amount of money.
Yep.
We can't skimp on the amount of money we're going to pay. And I hope they don't do that. But my question is for you, and that includes in the assistant school. If you're going to get a great head coach, he's going to want an assistant that's great as well. Build right from the beginning.
Right.
Do you think Joseph Snacks would be the head coach?
Dude, say it again. I lost you for a second. Andrew, what'd you say?
Mickey Joseph's not going to be the head coach. You bet with your, you don't bet with your heart, you bet with your mind. He's a great guy. Everybody loves him. But I don't think he's seasoned enough as a head coach. Do you think Trev has, after yesterday, his person and has taken Mickey off the list?
I don't believe, and I may be wrong, I don't believe Mickey was ever a viable candidate like in his top 5. I don't believe, personally. That's just me. And I could be completely wrong. I don't believe that he's going to put every bit of his eggs into that basket knowing this is it. It has to work here in terms for him, for his career.
How soon do you think he has to really nail someone down before other programs go after the same coach we're going after?
I'm sure that's already happening. He's got to have a coach ready Saturday after Thanksgiving. That's it. Got to be able to name a coach Saturday after Thanksgiving. That's his deadline.
You don't think it will be before?
I don't think it. The only way it's before is if it's a coach who's not coaching right now. Yeah. He's not going to name a coach who has a job right now while they're still in season. I don't think, unless you're talking about an NFL guy who's a coordinator or something. But you're not going to name a current college football coach while their season's still going on as your next coach. I don't think that's going to happen. That's why I think it's a Saturday after Thanksgiving, unless it's a Chris Peterson who's not working right now.
What do you think of Lane Kiffin? I think he would be a great hire.
I think Lane Kiffin is in the perfect spot in a place where people don't really care about somebody being a nut. And I think he's in the perfect place right now at Ole Miss, where you can bring whoever you want in academically. You can do whatever you want. That's on the edge. I think he's the perfect person. I think he'd come to Nebraska and win, but I think he might get Nebraska in trouble.
That is true. His background shows that.
He's got some of that in his background, Andrew.
Yeah. All right.
Hey, man, enjoy the game tonight.
Hey, take care. I will. Always watch it.
All right. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll grab Aaron. We also have Stephen M. Sipple coming up at the bottom of the hour here on Severe Reaction on 1620 The Zone.
It hit me like a ton of bricks. I'm like, I never smoked a cigarette. How in the hell did I get lung cancer?
I don't smoke. I've never smoked. So I started Googling. One word just kept coming up, like it was in bold and red, and it was radon.
Radon is the number 2 cause of lung cancer.
Well, you don't know if it's in your home. You got to test. You can't see it. You can't taste it. You can't smell it.
What's your level? Radon Defense Midwest can help. Visit radonradio.com for a special offer. That's radonradio.com.
The Angie's List you know and trust is now Angie, and we're so much more than just a list. We still connect you with top local pros and show you ratings and reviews, but now we also let you compare upfront prices on hundreds of projects and book a service instantly. We can even handle the rest of your project from start to finish. So remember, Angie's List is now Angie, and we're here to get your job done right. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
Now is the perfect time to download FanDuel. It's America's #1 sportsbook. You know why it's the perfect time? Because new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. Yeah, you heard me correctly. $1,000. That's free bets if your first bet doesn't win. All you have to do, sign up with promo code ZONE. That's easy. Promo code ZONE. One thing about FanDuel, it has all your favorite bets from money line to point spreads to player props, and it's easy to find. You get your winnings paid fast, and live betting, you'll get updated odds on games that have already started. Plus, it's safe, secure, and super easy to use. So all you have to do, sign up today with promo code ZONE for your no-sweat first bet. That's promo code ZONE. You can make every moment more this season with FanDuel. It is the official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21 over, present in Iowa, first online real money wager only. Refund is issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
Welcome to the After Hours Lounge on 1620 The Zone.
I choose to invade the state of Minnesota and steal PJ Fleck. He's rowing the boat into Lincoln.
They hired PJ Fleck for this job. I will quit. September 13, 2022, I will state my resignation at 1620 The Zone if they hire PJ Fleck.
Catch After Hours 6 to 8 Monday through Friday or as the sports schedule allows. Brought to you by Iowa Western Community College and Multicare Medical on 1620 The Zone.
French food, and not just small portions and high prices. Le Voltaire is anything but. Come visit Omaha's own little corner of France for mouth-watering appetizers and entrees, plus melt-in-your-mouth desserts. Dinner with friends, special occasions, entertaining clients, or just chilling with French wines and craft cocktails with your favorite someone. Le Voltaire will make you feel right at home, just like they've been doing for more than 2 decades. Le Voltaire just off 156th and West Dodge Road in the Pepperwood Village, and at LeVoltaireOmaha.com.
Now, back to Severe Reaction, powered by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. Here's your host, Michael Severe, on 1620 The Zone.
Williams in motion now to the near side. Snap back. DeVito looking left. Looking, throwing over the middle. Pass caught by Williams. He's wide open. 40, 35. Sprinting down the far sideline. 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. And that is an Illinois touchdown. Isaiah Williams, a little drag right over the middle, made the catch, and then outraced the Huskers into the end zone. Illinois has grabbed the early lead.
Welcome back. Severe Reaction here on 1620 The Zone, brought to you by Equitable Bank. They take banking personally and will answer the phone on the first ring. I'm curious, when I look at Juice Jr., who came in as a quarterback for them, how hard was it for him to say, yes, I want to be a wide receiver after wanting to be a quarterback his whole life, accepting it, and doing something. Now, he had the fumble yesterday, but that's a great example of a guy who, he had a goal. His goal wasn't going to work out at Illinois, didn't leave, stayed, and is contributing now, as I'm assuming by now he's a senior. He's been there forever. You got to get guys. Some guys have to just stay, right? Out of all the guys you recruit, not everybody's going to work out the position you recruited them. Not everyone's going to work out in the first 2 years. You got to have guys who decide to stay, and then maybe they break through, which Isaiah Williams has kind of done that after just staying there and going to a couple of coaches and a couple of positions, and good for him. But you got to have guys like that. Real quick, I had those keys before the game. Success on first down, keeping third down average to go under 4. I mentioned this earlier. Nebraska averaged 1.7 yards on first down, which is horrible. 7 rushes on first down for just 5 yards. The second one was get DeVito off his spot. Doesn't turn the ball over, but has taken a lot of sacks over his career. Well, guess what? They didn't get him off his spot. They did get 1 sack on him, 1 stuff play, which is, got back to the line of scrimmage, so it wasn't a sack, but didn't do much against him. He was 20 of 22 for 179 yards, 2 touchdowns. Nebraska was credited with 0 hurries, 0. 2 sacks, 1 on DeVito, 1 on that trick play they tried to run. But in general, DeVito had all the time he wanted to cook back there. And also, out of the 70 plays, Illinois only faced 24 official passing downs. That's determined by how many yards you have to go after first down. They ran 70 plays. Only 24 of them were considered passing down plays. And last, win the red zone, 7 not 3s. Nebraska only crossed Illinois' 40-yard line 3 times, twice in the first half. They had 2 picks and a field goal. So 3 out of the 9 points came out of that. That's not very good in terms of finishing drive rate. On the other side, Illinois crossed Nebraska's 40-yard line 5 times. They got 20 points out of that. Of course, they got 6 points from the 46-yard pass. But so that's a 4 in terms of points scored, in terms of finishing drive rate, which is pretty good. That's okay. It's not great, but it's good enough to be able to beat Nebraska. Nebraska's got to get touchdowns. To settle for field goals, it just the only way you're going to beat a team that's good defensively like Illinois is to score touchdowns when you get your opportunity. You can't throw 2 picks inside of the team's 40-yard line. Let's go back to the phones. That's where Aaron is this morning. What's up, Aaron?
Yeah, so I was just wanting to talk a little bit about their intelligence or lack of when they're playing. Yeah, like Reimer, best player on the defense probably.
Yeah.
He gets the guy out of bounds, extends the drive.
Yeah.
It's just that type of stuff year after year, game after game that turns a possible win into a loss. And so I think that's the biggest issue with them, talent also, but they're just not a very smart football team.
Yeah, and Aaron, I think part of it is, and that was a horrible play. It made no sense that he would do that. But there is a level of frustration from not being successful and a level also of guys just trying to make things happen at times that lead to penalties. But you're right. That's an inexcusable thing that Reimer did. He knows better than that. I can't make an excuse for it.
Then for Whipple and the quarterback, that type of stuff. Earlier, someone said that Mickey Joseph said that we're going to just let Whipple do what he does, right?
Yep.
Well, if he's going to be the head coach going forward, or if he thought he was going to be the head coach going forward, I think he would handle that situation completely different.
You think he would have gone with Logan Smothers instead of going with Chubba Purdy?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I just think that he would be a little more forceful with Whipple.
Yeah.
If Mickey Joseph really thought he was going to be the head coach going forward, I think that he would own it and say, no, we need to give ourselves the best chance to win this game, how this game is going, and not necessarily how you normally coach a game.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion, but
you might be right, Aaron. You're right. I think that right away, Mickey said when he took over, he was going to let his coaches coach. So he puts, takes Chenander out of there, puts Bill Bush in there and say, hey, you go fix this. I know you can. Whipple, you call the game. I'm not going to get in your way. Ultimately, the majority of head coaches make, a handful of decisions as a game where they're going to call a timeout, if you're going to go for it on 4th down, if you're going to punt here, if you're going to field goal here. Those are usually most of the decisions. But I'm sure there are going to be times where a coach in that situation, we're going to go with the quarterback that gives us the best chance to win. They're down 11 opposed to being down, like I said earlier, 13-9, which they could have been if they could have held on the ball and not given it back. Maybe it's a different situation then, but I think they did it simply because they want to see what they have in Chubba Purdy going forward to see if he's the quarterback for next year. That's what I think they did, and I think they got their answer as well. One more call before we take a break. We got to get to Steve Sipple. Go ahead, Will. What's happening, Will? How you doing?
Good, sir. Thanks, Michael. I'm sorry for taking my call. Long time, first time. I'm not going to try and reinvent the wheel like most of the other callers do. This is my opinion, and it smells like everybody else's. The only guy that has his head on straight is Trev. I think we need to cut all ties with anybody that has had anything to do with Nebraska as far as coaching goes, and start completely new from the bottom to the top, except for Trev. I think he has the ability to think outside the box and do a good job. Thanks for taking my call. Have a great day.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Will. And I know that's what we happened in 2004. Remember, they cut all ties essentially except for Turner Gill, who they kept for 1 year and brought in all new guys. And obviously Callahan and John Blake and those guys did recruit well. They did put together a talent enough to get to the Big 12 championship game. They put together enough talent to give Bo Pelini some real talent when he took over. I don't think you have to have a connection in Nebraska to coach at Nebraska. I never thought that. It might help in terms of some local knowledge, but there are other guys who haven't coached here who have really good local knowledge of the area because they've coached other places and recruited here. Chris Kleiman's got plenty of local knowledge here of the state. There's a lot of guys that have lots of local knowledge of the state. Lance Leipold, a lot of local. Now, he was on the staff at Nebraska, but still, you know what I mean? There are guys that have that local knowledge. I don't believe the guy has to have any connection at all to Nebraska, and I don't believe the guy will. I think Trev Alberts is going to hire the guy he believes that has the best chance to build Nebraska back into a team that can contend for the Big Ten, period. We'll take a break. When we come back, Stephen M. Sipple here on Severe Reaction on 1620 The Zone.
Bill Jones.
And Olivia.
Here again for Jones Bros Cupcakes and Cafe. Jones Bros is famous here at Omaha for catering delicious breakfasts and lunches for business meetings.
If I own a business, I cater Jones Bros every day.
Sounds good to me, Olivia.
For breakfast, I cater French toast with warm syrup and croissant donuts. That'd be a good day at work.
Go with it, Olivia. Check out our website at jonesbroscupcakes.com for catering.
Jones Bros Cupcakes in Exarban Village.
It's time for the gates to open. And pure evil to be released. Scary Acres is back. Omaha's ultimate haunted attractions. The Master's Castle, House on the Hill, the Haunted Woods. Scary Acres is open through Halloween night. 172nd and Giles. Sponsored in part by Stereo West, Raising Cane's, and Hy-Vee.
COVID-19 moves fast, and now you can too. If you feel symptoms, even if they're mild, you should test fast. Test positive and at high risk for severe COVID-19? Then act fast with authorized oral treatments that can be taken at home and must be taken within 5 days from when symptoms begin. COVID-19 moves fast, and now you can too by asking your healthcare provider if an oral treatment is right for you. Learn about a treatment option at treatcv19.com. This message is sponsored by Pfizer.
In a house in Omaha, people gather in the kitchen. They don't talk about school and work. They talk about doctors and surgeries. They're the families of Ronald McDonald House Charities in Omaha. In the kitchen is where they come together to share the struggles their children are facing. For these families, it's the little things, like a home-cooked meal even while far from home, that make the biggest difference. Volunteer to prepare a meal by visiting rmhcomaha.org.
Hi, this is Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. Great service never goes out of style. When the digital age dawned, many said computers would be able to handle many of the interactions that used to take a person. Boy, were they wrong. How many times have you called your bank and gotten a recording to press 1 or 2? Not at Equitable. Not only does Equitable answer your call in the first ring, it's answered by a human being. That's because Equitable Bank values its customers. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. Member FDIC.
J-Tech Construction, the official exterior experts of the Huskers, offers exterior solutions that help you protect your number one investment. Whether it's roofing and siding or windows and doors, they're committed to excellence, quality, and outstanding customer service in every step of the process. When it's time to protect the exterior of your home, your choice is simple. Turn to who the Huskers turn to. J-Tech Construction. Check them out online and schedule a free estimate today. J-Tech Construction, the official exterior experts of the Huskers.
Now, back to Severe Reaction, powered by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. Here's your host, Michael Severe, on 1620 The Zone.
The dangerous Williams split to the near side. Now he motions back toward the line of scrimmage. DeVito back to throw, looks right, throws wide open on a wheel route. Chase Brown, touchdown Illinois. Boy, he popped wide open, easy, walked in, and now that makes it a 19-9 Illinois lead.
Welcome back. Severe Reaction here on 1620 The Zone. Next up, we bring up the man, the myth, the legend. Yeah, that's right. I'm not talking about a wrestler, but he was a boxer. Stephen M. Sipple from HuskerOnline.com on 3 Network. Good morning, Mr. Sipple. How are you?
Good morning, Mr. Severe. You guys are very energetic on a Sunday.
I am, I don't know if you noticed about me, but I'm always fired up. Like always. Like every day. You know what I mean?
I like that about you.
You know, our friend Bob Diaco, who didn't have a great success here or any other places, had a great line when he first took over. He said, every day when I wake up, my feet are on fire when I hit the floor. I live by that. I believe in that. Let's go. Let's go, Sip.
I like that.
Yeah. Simply start off with a simple question. Did yesterday's performance eliminate Mickey Joseph as the head coach candidate?
We do that. We do this thing.
I know.
Where we ask other questions where we have no idea. And it's fine. This is all getting sort of interesting. I don't know. It shouldn't. I mean, I'll just say it. I don't think it should. It'd be kind of weird if it hinged on that, right?
Right.
Why do it'd be strange if it hinged on that.
Should it hinge on a bowl game?
Well, hold on. Yeah, maybe. I mean, you have to look at it for what it is. We won't do this. This is too much to ask of people. But he inherited a team that was, deficient on the offensive line and somewhat deficient on the defensive line.
Sure.
And he played a team that's it's going to be a championship outfit, and that it's going to be a division championship outfit yesterday. and if we eliminate him on that basis, then I don't know. It doesn't seem like a fair fight, you know. But I get it. That's kind of what we're doing right now, and I don't have any great answers. Here's the thing, Michael. It's possible Trev Alberts already has his guy,
right?
You know, we say things like he should give Brett Bielema a call. How do we know he has? I mean, how do we know that Bielema's not the next head coach? We don't. I mean, these discussions have gotten kind of odd to me.
Well, didn't Brett already turn it down once?
Yeah, he did when Icor. Yeah, when Icor during the Riley search.
Right.
Search for Riley. Yeah.
Right. I think the question about Joseph goes back to, do you believe, because of what we know about the Frost metrics, that you have to get to a bowl game in order to be able to keep a job? I think that's what people may look at. And when you think you lose Illinois, those next 4 are pretty hard to be able to get 3 wins.
Yeah, but it's flawed. It's flawed reasoning to apply Frost metrics to Mickey.
Right.
So some people might say, well, so what? Mickey doesn't have to win any games. I wouldn't go that far. But I wrote it. I wrote that his candidacy lost steam yesterday. It did in terms of perception. But as I was reading it this morning, I was thinking what I just said. How do I know that? How do I know his candidacy lost steam? I have no idea. There's only one person who knows that. That's Trev.
Do you think the reason why they played Chubba Purdy in the second half wasn't necessarily because what Mickey said, that they were down 11 and they needed to throw the ball because you got a whole second half, but was because they wanted to get a look at him to see if maybe he could be the quarterback for next year?
Oh, Michael, I do think it was more about the moment. I think you had to have somebody who could throw the ball downfield.
But you're only down 9, right? And you have a whole 11, I mean.
Yeah, 11.
You're down 11 and you have a whole second half to go. A second half, and you had moved the ball well in the first half. I don't know. I just think that it didn't make any sense. Your best chance was to have a mobile quarterback back there who could run, I thought. And that's not what Purdy was given.
Okay, now there's one part that you're leaving out, though.
Yeah.
Logan doesn't throw the ball downfield that well. That's been Nebraska's calling card. I mean, that's what's given Nebraska hope. You know, is Casey's ability to throw the ball downfield. Now, I don't like to do this because it sounds like I'm criticizing Logan, but arm strength has been the element that we've all agreed that holds him back.
Sure.
And that's not the case with Chubba. Now, the most informative discussion in terms of the backups that I can think of is, are they getting enough reps in practice? I didn't think Chuba looked prepared.
Right.
And Mickey did allude to the fact that it's hard to get backups reps in practice, especially, if you're using one station pro style practice, which they do. That's something I'd look at if I were Mickey.
Yeah, you only can, and even out with the second station, you're not going to really get a chance to get your 2-guy reps with the ones is the big issue. Yeah, and so he has to be able to. I think it's weird because 3rd and 2, 4 minutes and 30 seconds left. If they convert that 3rd down in the first half, and instead of it being 20-9, it's 13-9 or whatever else, I think you come back then with, you come back with Logan Smothers. It just seems like that one touchdown is what kind of changed it at the end of the half, making it 20-9.
Perhaps. I mean, the one there's the other thing about these conversations are they're unknown.
Yeah.
We have no idea what those guys look like in practice.
Sure.
So some of it has got to be determined by that, and that's a part of the discussion we just don't know. Every day they practice every day. They're meetings every day.
Yep.
There's guys that do better in those scenarios than others, and maybe Chuba does better on a day-to-day basis, and therefore he's number 2 for a reason, right?
Yep, sure.
It's hard for me to second guess that stuff. All I'll say is I thought there was a big drop off, and I didn't anticipate that.
Steve Sipple joining us from HuskerOnline.com. And a big part of it, I agree with you, that Chuba didn't look prepared. Although, I don't care how much practice you have, the throw he made that was the interception across his body, when he made that throw, I thought, that has nothing to do with preparation. That's just a guy who's a bad decision maker. And that's why he didn't win the job at Florida State. That's probably why he didn't win the job here. He just doesn't seem to be a good decision maker overall. So, it doesn't matter for practice.
That could be. That throw hurt him bad. He was up against come on. Chuba, and I said what I said. I didn't think he looked very prepared, but he was thrust into a really difficult situation. That Illinois line, we can watch games on TV and notice, hey, they're pretty good up front.
Sure.
But when they're standing on your field, man, that's 3 pros they have, I think, Michael, on their defensive line.
And I think their secondary is better. Their safety, that safety, how many plays did he almost make on plays where he had to come from the middle of the field to make the play? He was everywhere yesterday. I didn't look at his numbers.
Is that what you're talking about, number 30?
Yeah. Remember the play where Nebraska had it was on the west side, and you had to throw down the sideline. I think it was Purdy who threw it, and it looked like the wide receiver was open, and then all of a sudden the close happened. He did that he did it in the Brody Belt wheel route. Did the same thing.
Yeah,
he was good yesterday.
Yeah, I thought Illinois, I wondered if they were a little overrated. I'd seen them twice or once and a half. I saw the entire Minnesota game. I thought they looked pretty good.
Yeah.
But you get a better sense of them in person, I think.
Sure.
And my sense in person is they do look like a top 20 team. I think they probably will be playing in a good bowl game.
Yeah, I agree with you. And they don't have, the next game because they play Michigan State next. They have the game against Michigan, which that could expose them. I think they're a good team, Sip. I think Nebraska, if had Casey Thompson in the second half, they would have moved the ball on them. I think they had some things that worked in the first half, but without Casey Thompson, I agree. They had no chance.
Nebraska had over 200 yards against the team that had been allowing 221 a game. I agree with you. I think if Casey had been in the game, Nebraska would make that would have made it close, like we all picked and we all kind of expected. So the game's sort of informative to me. Nebraska's probably good enough to hang around with Illinois like we thought, but when Casey went out, we saw a significant drop. A drop that I didn't fully anticipate. And now that's why we're watching this situation very closely. Casey's health, because without Casey down the stretch, it's going to be really difficult.
Hey, Sip, one of the last things. When you look at this team and you know the roster well enough, do you think that they're going to have to go out and get a whole bunch of guys in the portal in order to make this team, give them a chance to win next year? Or do you believe that they have enough guys to where you play your young guys, you bring some guys in the portal, and you can win? Or is this going to be a complete turnover no matter who the coach is?
Depends how many guys leave. I mean, it's there's certain guys on the team that still have eligibility that are huge contributors. Trey Palmer, Garrett Nelson, O'Shawn Mathis. Those guys all could come back.
I don't think Palmer's coming
Thompson
back.
could come back.
Yeah.
I mean,
he'd be 25 years old, Sip.
I know all those guys have eligibility remaining. No,
Yeah.
I don't. It just depends on Michael. This day and age in college football, those questions are hard to answer because I don't know who's leaving,
Right.
who's staying. I don't know who's leaving. I don't know who's staying. I envision a major turnaround, a major roster
Turnover.
Yeah, turnaround.
Turnover.
A lot of changes.
Yeah.
I just think there's going to be a lot of changes.
No, I agree. Last thing, I don't know if you had a chance to watch Minnesota at all yesterday, but they obviously got things turned around. Nebraska on the offensive and defensive line, that scares you the most going against Minnesota?
Yeah, I mean Minnesota held Rutgers to 134 yards.
Yeah.
Now think about that. Rutgers not a great offense, but on the other hand, Minnesota, they got 136 or 100. Yeah, about 136 from Ibrahim. I think he went over 100 again.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, against Rutgers defense, it was ranked 6th nationally against the run, and Minnesota had a 19-play drive to start the game and a 13-play drive right after that. They went on a 19-play, 99-yard drive. Should get everybody's attention. Line plays gigantic. Ibrahim's gigantic in this discussion. Ibrahim's had 16 straight 100-yard games, and he just did it against the 6th-ranked rushing defense in the country. It's going to be tough for sure.
How excited are you that it's 11 a.m. game?
I am an old man, and I am excited about that.
Me too.
Old people like to get it done and early.
Yeah,
cash it in for the day.
It's when our testosterone is highest, Sip. That's why.
Well, we don't have to get into that.
Yeah.
Those sort of elements, but no, I'm really. I was about the only good thing of yesterday when they announced that kickoff.
No doubt. Hey, Sip, have a great rest of your Sunday, man. Thanks.
Okay, thanks.
Stephen M. Sipple, HuskerOnline.com. We'll take a break. We come back. Ryan, we'll catch you on the other side. You're on Severe Reaction on 1620 The Zone.
Here's an opportunity for business-to-business salespeople. NRG Media is looking for someone who gets excited about helping local businesses grow. Are you an idea person who can create and execute a plan? We should talk. At NRG Media, we create local marketing campaigns designed to meet a key challenge. On air, online, on-site, audio, video. It's all part of what you could do. A sales career with NRG lets you make a real difference. Business-to-business salespeople? Apply online at nrgmedia.com. NRG Media is an equal opportunity employer.
When Big Mobile charges you an arm and a leg, they're taking your money and your power. And your arm and leg. Boost Mobile gives your power back with an unlimited plan for $25 a month on one of America's largest 5G networks. We can't give you back your arm and your leg because we're not qualified surgeons. Unless you're an iguana who can grow limbs back. Switch to Boost and get an unlimited plan for $25 a month. Boost Mobile. Unleash your power. New customers only. One line, $25 per month with autopay. Additional restrictions apply. See boostmobile.com for details.
Hi, this is Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. Great service never goes out of style. When the digital age dawned, many said computers would be able to handle many of the interactions that used to take a person. Boy, were they wrong. How many times have you called your bank and gotten a recording to press 1 or 2? Not at Equitable. Not only does Equitable answer your call in the first ring, it's answered by a human being. That's because Equitable Bank values its customers. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. Member FDIC.
Get a full breakdown of what went right and what went wrong immediately after every Nebraska game with Big Red Overreaction. Presented by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. And by Coors Light, keeping Nebraska chill. Also brought to you by Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and more. Join the show immediately after the game and sound off with the good, the bad, and the ugly. Big Red Overreaction on 101.9 The Keg and 1620 The Zone.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required. Refund available for 60 days after purchase.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/joy. At Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the biggest brands at 90% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but 90% cheaper. It's the same medication you get from your doctor, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. Results are guaranteed or your money back. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/joy. That's 4hims.com/joy for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/JOY.
Now, back to Severe Reaction, powered by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. Here's your host, Michael Severe, on 1620 The Zone.
Between Thompson and the backups, that's significant in terms of what we saw today. Is that then indicative of what you've seen in practice?
Well, I think anywhere around the country between 1 and 2, it's going to be a big gap. So Sam, that's I think it's a gap between them.
Well, obviously there was a gap yesterday. We saw that, and there is less practice time for the number 2. It's just that simple. Unless you are splitting reps, which happens sometimes. Here's a bigger issue. Quarterback hurries yesterday. Nebraska against Illinois, 0. Breakups, pass breakups, PBUs, 0. 0 pass breakups, 0 quarterback hurries. That is an issue. That's why the other quarterback went 20 of 22 on the day. Let's go back to the phones. That's where Ryan is this morning. What's up, Ryan?
Hey, good morning, Michael.
Hey, man.
Hey, I want to key off of that last question you asked Sip about how you rebuild. Whether or not you do it through high school recruiting or you try to get players who can play right away through the portal and JUCO and whatnot.
Sure.
I have a hard time going the quick fix route because I think I've seen too many coaches come through here and take either a square peg round hole approach like Callahan, or hey, we'll keep the offense, but the defense needs work, or come in and bring all their staff, bring their system in, only after 2-3 years watching it fail, and then knee-jerk reaction of bringing in a bunch of players trying to win right away. Now you see there's no depth, there's no identity. You go from your starter to your backup, and everything falls off. So given that we've seen all that, what would you say would be the way to go for the next coach?
Ryan, I appreciate the call. I would say this, that it's a little bit different than it was ever before because of the way the portal is right now. Not just bringing guys in, but by how easy it is for guys to leave and not have to sit out. So it changes the whole dynamic. I think there are certain positions that if you're not good enough, I don't think you can afford to just say, I'm going to go with, a high school senior, bring him in here. He's going to develop for a couple of years and be our guy. There's a couple positions like quarterback, running back, offensive tackle, and interior defensive line, even cornerback. If you don't have a guy ready to go, you're in big trouble. So those are guys you're going to have to go get from the portal. Yes, ultimately, 80%, hopefully, of your roster are guys who you brought in either as high school guys, and I'm going to throw junior college guys in there too, because they're closer to being high school guys than the portal guys are. Because they went to that lower level. Maybe they weren't big enough. Maybe they didn't have the grades or whatever else. And that's why they're going there for a while, then coming here. So I'm going to say 80% should be of guys who are high school and junior college or community college guys. And then on the other side, those other 20% and at big positions, I think almost have to be portal guys now if you're at Nebraska's level. It's funny, you look at Alabama. Alabama went out and got a right tackle, I believe is where he plays, who is a portal guy. Clemson went out and got a couple portal guys. Georgia went out and got – everybody's going to the portal to get better. It's where Nebraska's going to have to get better, especially at some of those bigger positions where it's hard to get guys who come in and play as freshmen. But, yes, I agree. The majority of the the team needs to be guys who you got out of high school, who you got out of junior community college. That has to be. But then those other positions, nowadays, the way it's set up now, you're going to have guys leave. If a guy doesn't get to start at quarterback, usually he's going to leave. The same has been true at running back across the country, and the same is kind of true now at wide receiver across the country. So you're going to have to be able to get those guys in through the portal because you're going to be losing them to the portal. We'll take a last break. When we come back here, Severe Reaction on 1620 The Zone.
It's Halloween at Genesis Health Clubs. Join with no enrollment fee, no contract, and save 20% per month every month. Hurry, just one day left. It may be the spookiest time of the year, but starting a new fitness routine doesn't have to be scary. Genesis Health Clubs have top-of-the-line equipment and the absolute best personal trainers, tennis professionals, and group fitness instructors to help keep you motivated and headed towards your fitness goals. Plus, relax in luxury afterwards with saunas, steam rooms, and fluffy towel service. Whatever your fitness needs, Genesis is here to help every step of the way, and there's nothing scary about that. This Halloween, join Genesis Health Club with no enrollment fee, no contract, and save 20% per month every single month. But hurry, this offer will end before you have a chance to count your Halloween candy. It ends on Halloween and won't extend. Hurry, just one day left. Go to GenesisHealthClubs.com before Halloween and get no enrollment fee, no contract, and save 20% per month every month. One day left. This offer will not extend.
Get a full breakdown of what went right and what went wrong immediately after every Nebraska game with Big Red Overreaction. Presented by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. And by Coors Light, keeping Nebraska chill. Also brought to you by Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and more. Join the show immediately after the game and sound off with the good, the bad, and the ugly. Big Red Overreaction on 101.9 The Keg and 1620 The Zone.
Hi, this is Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. Great service never goes out of style. When the digital age dawned, many said computers would be able to handle many of the interactions that used to take a person. Boy, were they wrong. How many times have you called your bank and gotten a recording to press 1 or 2? Not at Equitable. Not only does Equitable answer your call in the first ring, it's answered by a human being. That's because Equitable Bank values its customers. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. Member FDIC.
For the early risers in Lincoln and Omaha, Saturday mornings join a new congregation. The guys from the Church of the Corn are now live every Saturday morning on 1620 The Zone. Catch Zach, Drake, and yes, even Fitz. Saturday mornings from 8 to 10 a.m. right here on 1620 The Zone. Join the choir every Saturday and find out. The Church of the Corn is in session every Saturday morning, 8 to 10, right here on 1620 The Zone.
Goodwill is opening a new location very soon, and they need your donations to continue the Goodwill mission. The new Goodwill location is at 35th and L Streets, and they can use clothing, furniture, household items, and a whole lot more to fill their 10,000 square foot space. Drop off your donations to any of the 14 other Goodwill locations in the metro, and Goodwill will make sure they get to the new location. Then when it opens, come and visit the new Goodwill at 35th and L Streets in the Stockyard Plaza.
Now, back to Severe Reaction, powered by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. Here's your host, Michael Severe, on 1620 The Zone.
The 17th ranked team in the country comes on the road and conquers Nebraska. They beat the Huskers today 26-9. Huskers lose their quarterback Casey Thompson to an injury late in the first half. Had to go the second half without him, and the offense could not get anything going. And the Illini improved now to 7-1.
Nebraska drops to 3-5 on the year as well. Minnesota coming up. If you didn't hear, it's an 11 o'clock start. 11 o'clock start next week in Memorial Stadium. Let me get it out of the way, I guess. Real quick, so if you ever listen to my old show back at the paper, The Bottom Line, my initial producer, Chad Awney, was my producer for about, I think, the first year and a half or so. Chad helped me start the station, build the catalog of sound that we had in it, from songs and drops and all that stuff. Really good guy. Passed away last month, earlier this month, and they're having a little get-together for him today. He was a huge Minnesota Vikings fan, loved the Vikings. So if you have a chance today to cheer for the Vikings for a little while, for Chad, we'd appreciate that. Some friends getting together today to remember him. Leaves behind a wife, and of course, a loving family, and a lot of people who really liked him. He was one of those guys that was always happy for the most part, always had a smile on his face. No matter when you saw him, he was usually in a pretty good mood. So we all miss Chad, and we're going to remember him. And again, if you have a chance to cheer for the Vikings today in honor of Chad, I ask you to do that. Chad Ani, gone way too young, leaving this world. We'll be back, of course, next week, Sunday morning, 8 a.m. after Nebraska plays Minnesota, hopefully after a win. I don't know. Be back next week. Enjoy your weekend. Severe reaction.
Shop Woodhouse Place Hyundai and Nissan, 144th and Giles. KOZN, Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs.